everyone. I am so excited to be here with Sievewright today. And thank you for joining. If you're live, obviously give us a hello, a wave, something. Let us know that you can see us and you can hear us and everything's working okay. And if you're catching this on the replay, post your questions, give us a hashtag replay and let us know that you're here. So I'm really excited about this conversation. And when Ali and I started talking about, what we could offer each other in our groups, when this topic came up, I was really, really excited because it is just such, I've hinted that there's a rant coming from me and I have so much to say about it. I don't know how to get it all organized into one thing. So it's coming, but this chat is going to be, I guess, the beginning of it. And yeah, so when we were talking about it and this came up, it's just been a conversation around being authentic in your business. And it's been coming up over and over and over. And I would say for at least the last, I know it started in the summer where I started noticing the trend where it was just I constantly kept hearing the same thing and it hasn't stopped. So I think it's just a really important conversation that we're having about being authentic in your business. And I know I made a post yesterday promoting this chat and just talking about if you aren't being authentic, if things just aren't going to work for you, you're not going to do the work, things are not going to work out. And this is what it's sort of the gist of what I'm hearing. It's a lot of, it just doesn't feel good, but I'm not getting where I want to be in my business. It just doesn't feel good. And so on that note, why don't you tell us, I'll give you a little rundown of the bio and I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess it up. So Ali is a holistic business coach, an authentic sales specialist, and an intuitive. She's a Reiki master and teacher and a purpose-driven entrepreneur for over 21 years with a degree in psychology. And she brings her own unique perspective to business. And she uses a blend of proven marketing and sales strategy in combination with energetic mindset and spiritual aspects of business in order to help her clients unlock their true potential and create a thriving business that lights up their soul. So with all that, thank you so much for being here, Ali.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into it?
Oh man. Okay. How did I get into it? Well, as you said, I've been a holistic healer and a wellness practitioner and really a small business owner for the last 21 years. When I was 22, I literally went out on my own. And it's funny because, and we won't get too deep into that, but a lot of it had to do with being told how to do things and things not feeling aligned to my core values and me not wanting to ever have a boss telling me I had to do it a certain way that didn't feel good to me. I wanted to be able to serve my clients how I wanted to serve them in a heart-centered way. And so that actually prompted me all those years ago to just go out and do it on my own. But, what I noticed, so I'm first and foremost a lover of all things mind, body, spirit, healing, energetics, mindset. Like you said, my background is in psychology. So I'm fascinated by human behavior and why we do things and why we are the way that we are. And, what are the things that hold us back from really creating the life that we want and confidently stepping into that life. And of course that applies to business. And so over the last many, many years, I noticed that my peers, whether it was other energy healers or estheticians, whether it was other coaches, when I was moving more into the coaching space, in the network marketing space, no matter where I went, I always noticed that these amazing heart-centered entrepreneurs who just, wanted to help people and very often identified as empaths, right? Didn't feel comfortable around the sales process, any part of it. Didn't feel comfortable receiving money, asking for money, pricing their services accordingly, having these conversations with people. They didn't want to feel pushy and salesy and all these things. And what I noticed is they just felt very, very awkward around that, which then of course impacted their business, because if you can't get comfortable around sales, then you don't have a business. And if you don't have a business, then you can't live out your life's purpose. Because I believe that your business when you are, when you're a small business owner, like so many, of us are on this call today, that can really be an expression of your soul's purpose, your life messages. And you can't live those out if you are broken, struggling, and you can't make it happen. And if you can't get comfortable with sales, then that's a problem, right? And so it's not about getting comfortable with the type of sales that we're used to in traditional business structures, which is, can be very awkward and uncomfortable and pushy and manipulative. That way of selling doesn't feel comfortable, especially to people who are healers and coaches and more empaths. Okay. That doesn't resonate for us. And anytime that you are doing something that is out of integrity to who you are at your core, you're not going to do it, or you're going to do it in the energy of discomfort or lack of certainty or lack of confidence. Yeah. People are going to feel that. Now, I was lucky enough to be raised by an entrepreneur, my dad, who taught me from a very, very young age how to sell from the heart. Like that, the money comes as a result to you being willing to put your client first and foremost always, and to serve, at the highest level possible. Obviously, I didn't know that languaging back then. I didn't use that languaging back then. I'm using that now. But what I took from that was that, when you are willing to help other people get what they want and put them first, then you build that trust with them. And the money comes as a result, right? But you're never doing it first and foremost for the money. It's the byproduct. So those were things that I just naturally knew. I also was a trained energy healer, and I understood the importance of energy in interactions with clients and potential clients. So I started just showing people, what I was doing, because I was always hitting the highest sales. I was always had a full book of clients or whatever, if it was retail, if it was network marketing, whatever it may be. And people were always like, what are you doing? And so I just started teaching these things, these principles. And that's really how I got into this. And then I transitioned from, being a holistic practitioner and and really doing a lot of energy healing and life coaching, to then just really feeling the pull inside to work primarily with entrepreneurs, incorporating a lot of these principles, but how do we apply it to our business? So that's kind of like the really long, short story of how I got to where I am today, working with other healers and coaches and helping them to really create a magnetic marketing that isn't about chasing, but really just attracting those soulmate clients, and then a sales process that is authentic to them. And that's kind of where we are today.
Yeah. And I think it's so important because you said it right there in the beginning. Like, if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. Like it's really as simple as that. Like if you're doing something, I'm picking on the cold DMs, right? But if you stay on the line, like, so if you're on this call, you have a business, and let me just preface, if you have a business and you're doing cold DMs and those are working for you and they feel good for you, then this message is not for you, and don't send me the hateful note after. But like if you have a business, and let's just say someone tells you that this is a strategy you have to do, and you're not going to be successful, and you're leaving all the money on the table if you're not doing the cold DMs. Yeah. But every time you go to do a cold DM, you break out in hives, and you just strongly do not want to do it. It's like you said, you're either A, not going to do it, or B, you're going to come at it from such a kind of like a half-assed energy, or from such a negative place that it's not going to land right anyways. Yeah. It really is though, kind of finding your own way.
It is. And a lot of what I work with my clients on is, okay, you've got resistance to doing private So just to distinguish here, I am not a fan of cut and paste spam. I don't even know who you are, but I'm just going to message you and say, hey, buy my shit. Like, block, delete. Like, I'm done. I have no patience for it. I do, however, believe that a private message strategy where the intention is to create a connection and to build rapport and to build a relationship without that immediate, like, you know, hey, buy my thing. Like that is a different story. So
yeah, that's different. Yeah. I'm talking like the cold,
yeah, forget
nowhere. Oh, hey, I love what you're doing. How long have you been?
No, I can't. I have no tolerance
because they're trying to pitch you their product. And I got one yesterday, and then it's like,
I know, I hate it.
And then they come back with like, hey, just bumping this to the top. I'm like,
oh, I know, it's block. But what I want to distinguish here is that when you're feeling a resistance to something in your business, are you resistant to it because it doesn't work with your lifestyle, or it goes against your core beliefs, or it's just not what you enjoy? Or are you resistant to it because you are approaching it from like a gross, manipulative, salesy kind of way? Like, here's an example. So private message strategy works, sales calls work, but I can go into a sales call thinking of it as I'm going to hop on a call with somebody and I'm going to try to manipulate the conversation so that I can get them to buy, and I can convince them that they need to sell their firstborn child and go into debt to pay for my program. Like, there are coaches who teach this, okay? Or that they don't want it badly enough, or like, so if I've only been taught that version of what a sales call looks like, and that goes against my core values, I may do it because I may think that I have to, or that there's no other way to sell, right? Because I just don't know any other way. But as I'm doing that, I feel like shit about myself, and I don't feel confident in that. So I don't show up postured and with certainty around it. And then that other person feels that. But if I look at a sales call and I look at it as just an opportunity to give some space, time and space to somebody to express, you know, their deepest desires and really connect with me about, you know, why these things are so important to them, or whatever it may be. And I look at it as like an invitation into transformation, only if they're a good fit, only if I decide that I even want to work with that person. And I come to it from like this more abundant way of thinking where it's giving me an opportunity to like build a relationship with somebody, and not as this sleazy, manipulative, gross thing. That's a whole different vibe than the first way of doing it. So being really careful as entrepreneurs to not just say, oh, I don't do sales calls, I don't do what is it about the way that you're approaching it that doesn't feel good to you, so that you can like, because there's a difference, right? Yeah.
There's total difference. And I know, even just like with myself, I've, you see so many scripts and you read it, you're like, whoa,
yeah.
God, I wouldn't say that stuff. And that's the thing, like, if I know that right in if that's turning my stomach right off the hop, it doesn't matter who I have on the other end of the call. Like you say, I'm not positioning myself. I'm not showing up with confidence. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this next line, but here it is.
Yeah, that's like, never going to work.
It's never going to work. And what happens, you do one or two calls like that, and then all of a sudden you're dreading doing sales calls because you got to go in and you have to pitch this like awful script.
Yeah. And chances are very, very high that if you're coming in with that energy and that lack of certainty and belief around it, and that discomfort, that they're not going to be buying from you because they're going to sense that.
Yeah. And you're not going to be bringing in more people, like the people that you're even bringing onto the call. I know if there was, like a while I was getting a lot of just like random people. And I'm like, how are you even like, how are we, like, what about me are you jiving with? Because we're so not compatible. But I was completely out of alignment, right? It was like, I was doing things that wasn't what I wanted to be doing. I was doing it because it was this thought, and this is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to do it. And once I started shifting even just a little bit, then it was all of a sudden people showing up that here's my card. I'm like, did you want me to tell you what my program was? No. Okay. All right then. But it was just a total shift. And it was even just the, I'm a little bit woo woo, but sounds even more woo than I am, but just the energy that you're just even putting out, right? Like you're just totally bringing in the wrong people and then repelling actually the ones that you want.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the frequency that you are on, which is, made up of a lot of things, your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, how you're showing up. Are you excited about what it is that you're offering? Are you passionate about what it is that you're offering? Are you inspired to create content because you love the subject matter and you're feeling lit up inside? Because those are the offers that are going to become magnetic. Yeah. Because people are going to tap into your excitement about what it is that you're doing. And so, yes, of course, we get into the strategy of, how can we use the right languaging to pull in the right types of people, and how can we use languaging so that people understand, what problems we're solving and all that good stuff. But it's the energy that's going to catapult whatever content you're putting out there. It's going to catapult your webinar, your sales page, or whatever it is. It's going to 10x that. It's going to magnify that. And then on the flip side, if you are, offering something that you're not super excited about anymore, maybe you were at one point, but it's just not lighting your fire so much anymore. Or if you're offering something and you're pricing it is, at a place where you're going to feel resentful showing up to your business, but you're afraid to increase it because you're afraid nobody's going to pay for that price, right? Then you're out of alignment in your offers and in your business. And again, then that energy is going to carry when you go to offer it, and you're going to hear crickets.
Yeah, it's a good point about the pricing. And that's something I come across a lot with clients. And it's like, well, Simon's like, I think your prices are a little low or whatever. And, this is where they're at. I'm like, okay, we'll just do it once or twice. And then let me know when that resentment kicks in, because your price is low. But if you're not willing to increase them now because you don't feel comfortable with that, that's fine. But I always say, like, you're going to hit that point where you're going to feel resentful and you're going to realize, and then that's when, like, if you're not comfortable doing it now, that's fine. You don't have to. But when you hit that point, you're going to call me and be like, okay, I'm ready.
Exactly. So like checking in with, how does this feel right now? Like pricing it here may have felt really good like 6 months ago. In fact, it may have even felt like a stretch 6 months ago. But let's say now you've had 6 months of working with clients, you're getting results, you see how much time and energy you're putting into it. And now all of a sudden, this pricing that felt like a stretch 6 months ago kind of feels like I'm giving away a little too much. And then, okay, it's time to course correct a little bit here.
Yeah.
And, I definitely, when it comes to pricing, I don't believe that you should price it so high that like you want to throw up, because as a money mindset coach, it's like your nervous system is going to respond to that frequency. And so you don't want it to be so out of the ballpark that, you can't get your energy behind saying it confidently.
That's what
but definitely stretching yourself.
That's then that's kind of the advice you see online and you see on social media and stuff, right? It's like, just put it way up here and you just want to bomb it every time you say it. And that's where it should be. And then like, that might work for some people. Maybe it does. I don't know. But what I'm finding with my clients, it's a lot more realistic to like, okay, well, let's set it here. Let's put it somewhere where you feel okay.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little too low, but you feel good. And then, you'll sell one or two, then we're going to increase it. And if we have to baby step you to here, that's better than you not getting on a sales call because you're terrified to say that price.
Right.
I'd rather see you get from here to here in 6 months and
build your confidence over time.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe it's $100 jump, maybe it's a $500 jump, maybe it comes into $1,000 jump over the course of a little bit of time. Yeah. But rather than you just not doing it at all because you can't even say the price and you're just like, no, I better not sell it because that doesn't feel good to me.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, yes, there's stuff in business that is not going to feel good, that you don't want to do. I can tell you right now, I don't want to do marketing. I don't want to do accounting, and I don't want to do any technology. So the joke's on me. Entrepreneur, but here I am. So there's always going to be stuff that you don't want to do and that doesn't feel good doing it. And maybe there are some blocks that you need to remove or some obstacles you need to come around. But at the very end of the day, if you can't get that whittled down to something that does feel good, you're not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
right. And so your belief systems are going to basically are going to ultimately impact the energy that you're taking in your business. You know, if you believe that I'm not worthy of receiving $1,500 for my program, just as an example, you know, if that's, you know, or I'm questioning, do I need more certifications, or who's going to take me seriously, or whatever it is that sounds like in your head, that is then going to trigger a feeling in your body. So that feeling is kind of the energy, right? Of that belief system. You're embodying that energy. So if I have that belief, and that feeling then becomes, let's just say it's fear. Like I'm afraid to tell people about what it is that I'm doing because I am questioning it myself. Then that fear is going to impact the action that you take in your business or cause inaction. So that fear is either going to be, I'm going to procrastinate it, you know, around it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get busy doing everything else. Or I don't feel motivated to take that action. Well, of course, you're not going to feel motivated when you're in a state of fear, right? Or I'm going to take that action, but it's from the energy of scarcity or lack, or questioning whether I'm worthy of it, or whatever it may be. And then that end result is going to reflect the energy in which you're taking that action. So you might be writing the content, sending the emails, sending the PMs, like doing all the things on paper strategically, but it's the energy in which you're taking those actions that are actually what's going to make the difference.
Yeah. And you're going to hold yourself back. Like if you're sitting there and you're scared of saying, I'm sticking with the price. Like if you're scared of saying your price, your content isn't going to be bam, 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 bam. Cause you're like, ooh, I'm going to kind of hide a little bit over here. And I'm not going to make it as powerful as I can because I really don't want to say the price at the end.
Totally.
Like there's no way that you can expect yourself to do all of this if that's what you're feeling on the inside. Cause like you said, the feelings are what drives the actions. And I mean, in NLP, we call it secondary gains. And that's when you have something, you want something, but you're gaining something by not getting it. You know, we learned about it in nutrition. When I was in nutrition school, we learned about it as well. And like why people won't get well, you know, and they are gaining something. So if it's someone
for sure
who's sick all the time, but that's where they're getting all of their attention, they're not, not be able to get them better. And in business and just like kind of like what we're talking about now, it's the same thing. Like if you find it so uncomfortable to put your prices out into the world, so you get to, you know, not have that discomfort by not putting them out into the world. That's the gain. And you're not going to do it.
Right.
Or you're going to do it in like sneaky covert ways over here where nobody's going to see it. Or
and if I don't put it out there, then nobody can reject me. Right. I can avoid the feeling of feeling embarrassed.
Yeah.
That nobody bought the thing or whatever it may be.
Whatever it was. And that's why I think like the strategy for, just guys sticking with the prices, but that strategy for increasing your prices, it has to feel good as well. It can't be like, just increase them by 10 grand or, you know, take it from whatever, you had $1,000 program and now someone's coach is telling you to take it to 3,000 or 4,000. And now just automatically you're going to go at the gate. Maybe you can do that, but if not, you're going to spend the next 6 months still sitting over here, not selling anything at 1,000 because you know you're supposed to be increasing your prices, but you're not doing it. When in that 6 months, you literally could have baby stepped your way up to the 5 and actually take it along the way.
And here's the joke of it is that nobody buys your thing or not because of the price. Like nobody. It has zero to do with the price. Like if I see that something is on sale at the store and it's just not something that I need or want or value, then I'm not buying it. It doesn't matter if it's on sale. It doesn't matter if it's such a good $5. It's not something that I need, want, or value.
Right.
And then on the flip side, if it is something that I need, want, or value, and it is expensive, I'm going to find a way to purchase it. So it really has absolutely nothing to do with that. But I find that people are very disconnected from the transformation that they're actually offering somebody. And so they may either price their stuff or think that the buying decision is about the product that they're selling or the program that they're selling. Like my program is, 12 weeks or it's 6 months, or it includes this many coaching calls or whatever. And people don't care about that kind of stuff. They care that you're going to get them the transformation that they are looking for. And they don't care if that's done in 5 weeks or 6 months. They don't care if that's with 5 audios or 50 audios. And so a lot of times, like we kind of market the thing we're selling instead of really diving deep into the transformation and us getting our mind on board with the transformation and how, you're impacting that person physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in their relationships. Like, if you haven't done that in your business yet, like I challenge you to go through, a deep dive into what is life going to look like for that person on every single one of those levels. Once they have learned the things that you are going to teach them or gone through your, whatever it is that it is. And then you start to get your energy on board with what it is that you're selling, because you understand that, you're not just selling a nutrition plan. You're selling the transformation that comes from that nutrition plan. And then you can start to get your confidence up a little bit more around your pricing.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? Because you're pricing, like you said, the 12 sessions. So my hourly rate, I want it to be this, I'm going to make this much money, 12 sessions.
Right.
My time is worth X, except what they're actually the lifetime value that they're going to get from doing your program, right? Like if you're a diabetic, it's not about the 12 sessions you're going to give me where I learn how to eat and balance my blood sugar. It's the fact that 20 years from now, I don't lose my leg and have an amputation.
Right.
Like that's the lifetime value of what they're getting.
Right.
It's such a big, you're so right. Like it's such a, it's such a shift, like a mindset shift that we have to make. And like what you're actually value or what you're actually pricing is this, not actually, oh, I see comments here. Not actually, oh no, what did I do?
Maybe you just clicked on it.
Yeah, I did, but I turned on the volume. There we go. Yeah, you're not actually pricing the actual sessions. It's not about the sessions.
Right. But most people, when they price and when they market, that's what they're leading with. And people don't buy that. People buy with their emotions. They don't buy with facts and figures and logistics. They don't buy with, well, you're going to get this many meal plans and, this many supplements and recipes. And those are like logistics, that's not what they buy with. In order to bring somebody into a buying state, they have to first feel something. They have to feel, before, and this is just human behavior and this is human psychology. Before we take action, something has to trigger us into action. And before we take action, we have a feeling state. And so if your content isn't connecting or your calls aren't connecting and really bringing somebody into an empowered state where they want to make a change in their life, then it doesn't matter how you're pricing your stuff. That you're missing the point. Yeah. Right. And so when we talk about going back to, you were talking about like sales templates, like when in my program, I give people a guide of the different elements that are needed in order to bring people through the emotional states to allow them to come to an empowered decision for them, completely letting go of the outcome, completely letting go of whether or not they're going to take those next steps. That's not for you to try, and that's not your problem. Like, this is their journey. Do you know what I mean? Like, your job is to hold space and to take them on that journey to get them to the place where they can make an empowered decision at the end, whether it's going to, whether it resonates for them or not. not to feel bad about ourselves, not to, clam up when somebody gives you an objection about something and make it all weird and make it about you. When you're doing that, you are making it about you. When I teach my clients, you need to make it about the person you're talking to 100%, like what is best for them 100%. When you're making it weird, where you're afraid, you don't want to be pushy, it's because, you don't want them to think badly about you or whatever. But when you are tapped into your higher purpose, the reason why you are here to serve, and you're really acting from that space, from that more abundant space, from your highest self versus what I call your survival self, which is like where you're afraid and all the scarcity comes in and judgment, and you're making it about yourself. That's when sales feels cold and slimy and manipulative and weird, because you're making it about you.
Yeah.
You're making it about how you're feeling instead of how can I serve? How can I bring this person to an empowered space to make the best decision for them? And when you make it about them, it does take the weirdness out of it. It's also about, when you're on that call, and I talk a lot about this too, is just really learning to be present with the person that you're with, instead of, thinking about the end of the call or 12 steps ahead, or what should I say, or what should I, or what if they give me this objection and what am I going to say? And like trying to pre-plan things instead of just being a human one-to-one and connecting with them on a human level in the moment, and trusting yourself, trusting your own intentions. That's a big one for women who are afraid that they're going to be pushy or people are going to see them like in a negative way. You need to trust your own intention. If your intention is pure, which is to just connect with that person and, build a relationship with somebody, see if it might be a good fit, and it's pure, it's not to be manipulative, it's not to be pushy. When you trust yourself and you act from that space, that's a whole other interaction that is huge.
And I think what gets missed too, right? Because we get so caught up in the, am I saying the right words? Oh God, I stumbled. Oh,
yep.
Your point, like what's this objection going to be at the end? How am I going to preempt that? Oh, she said she had a husband, so I bet you she's going to use I got to talk to my husband thing. How am I going to handle it? You can't be thinking ahead of all of this and then being present with them in the moment. And at the moment, it is because it's a discovery call, but it's kind of like an interview, right? Like you're seeing if you're a good fit. They're seeing if you're the right coach for them. And if they don't feel like you're present with them, why are they going to want to sign up, give you all this money so that they can keep showing up to these coaching calls and not feeling like they're being seen and heard?
And you're also missing out on just the gems that happen in the moment and the quiet spaces to be able to feel into not just the words that somebody's saying, but to actually feel into how they're saying it and trusting that you're going to have the next words to say back to them when you're speaking from your heart authentically, and not because the script says this is the next question.
Yeah, exactly. We get so caught up in, are we going to do it right? Are we going to do it wrong? I need to get it right because I need to make the sale. You can't say the wrong thing, that you don't even know exactly what is the right and wrong thing to say to this person anymore, because the script is,
and then it feels like sales.
Yeah.
And then it feels gross.
Yeah.
Right. And then that person feels that too.
Yeah. And they I've been on enough of these things. I know exactly the script. I can probably tell you who your coach was and where your coach was from. Like, oh, I recognize this one, right? Like you can tell. So when you're super scripted, because for me, I'm in kind of like the business entrepreneurial world, right? So that's who I'm talking to. If you're like a health coach and you're talking to, I don't know, stay-at-home moms and losing weight, they don't know that you're using a script and they don't know, but they're still going to feel if you're connected or not connected. They're still going to feel if you're distracted. Like they're still going to know that regardless of knowing what you're going to say next. Like
Yeah. I mean, I talk about a lot in my business, the masculine and feminine energies, and, not masculine from like a gender standpoint. Like we all have masculine and feminine energies with it in us, regardless of how we define our gender. So it has nothing to do with that. It's like yin and yang. The masculine is more of like the structure, the format, the container, right? The script, if you were, or the guide. Okay. And the feminine is more where you're tapping into your intuition, you're tapping into your creativity, your emotions, the connection that you have with that person. I actually believe that having both are in every aspect of your business, that there's a place for both. Like a lot of times people say, you know, that hustle energy. Well, that's the disempowered masculine, right? But the empowered masculine is focused and is committed and is taking action. There's a difference between that and hustling, though, right? So one's empowered, one's disempowered. But when you're on a call, so when I'm doing my training, I'm giving you a guide, that's the masculine, so that you have a framework, you understand, you don't feel like you're just flailing about, because you can't just go in and just flail about. There is some strategy, right? So that you have sort of a guide as to, you know, how to take people on that journey. But within that guide, it's not meant to disempower you from using your own voice or your own words. It's meant to just be kind of a guide that you just have in the background, and then you tap in to your own intuition, to what it is that you're feeling called to say back to that person in the words that feel most authentic to you. And so you have that blend, and ultimately that is very powerful. You know, versus a just, here's the next line, here's the next line, like we're a bunch of robots.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. It gets very robotic, right? When it's like, you can, funny too, like when you can hear them, like, what, okay, oh, I missed the line. And then you can hear it when they're trying to catch back up to their script. It's like,
God.
Oh God.
It's terrible.
So we got a couple of people watching, and I just want to just check comments in case there's a question here that I'm missing. And Courtney's saying that she hates the DMs, who actually buys from those sleazy DMs. And Vanessa says, hello, Vanessa.
Hello.
Yeah. And Natalie agrees the word is transition. Like, what are you solving? 100%. It doesn't feel good from the other side either. I was on a horrible sales call where the coach made me feel awful, and I decided not to go with her. I didn't end up hiring her.
I'm curious, Courtney, what did she do or he do that her that made you feel awful? But yeah, it's just not supposed to be like that.
No. And again, like, why would you sign up to work for somebody who makes you feel bad? Like, great, right. I'm going to sign this.
Well, and why, as the coach, do you want somebody to sign up with you who you had to coerce?
Yeah. Coercing.
Job is not to convince anybody that they need to buy something that they don't need or want. That is not your job. And if you're being guided in that way, you got to take a second look at that. That's not our job. Our job is to give them the information, is to listen to them, is to allow them that space. Because, you know, how many times, especially in the transformation world like this, do people not have any opportunity to express their deepest desires and what they're struggling with and how it's impacting them? And they've maybe never even been asked those kinds of questions before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but especially depending on who your actual ideal client is. Like, exactly.
Right.
You know, if you're talking about, just going back to the moms example, right? If you're doing weight loss for moms and they're so busy and they don't even have the time to focus on their own health. And this could be the first opportunity that they've had in a very long time to even make anything about themselves.
Right.
And now you're going to make it about you and trying to get your stuff across and get your point and try to get all your words right. And you're kind of missing that opportunity to connect with them at all.
Right. So
Courtney I don't know if Courtney heard that question or not, but she didn't.
It's okay.
So authentic sales. So I guess, this is kind of what we're talking on here, but do you have any tips for how to stay in alignment in your business and not get sucked into all that noisy social media with all the flashy headlines and
about how to do your business, or about how you should be showing up authentically?
How to just not get sucked into the noise, and how you can just like root into who you are and do it your own.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really important to get deeply connected with who you are and what your mission is, and what your unique life messages are. Even, what is it that you want to share with people? What are you feeling called right now to say to people? Right. And why is that important to you? I think it's really important. If you haven't written out some type of a mission statement, to really get connected with where you are in this moment in time, because that can change over time. A lot of the women that I work with in my business are pivoting in their business. Like, what felt important to them 6 months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, doesn't anymore. They've grown and they've evolved. And I always say that your business can only grow to the extent that you grow personally and spiritually. And so if you are doing your work and you are growing as a person, then chances are things are going to shift. And, what maybe was lighting your fire might not be so much anymore, or maybe, you just feel called to express it in a new way. So like just getting really grounded and, where am I and what is exciting to me right now and what is lighting my fire and what do I feel passionate about sharing with people? And then really just it doesn't have to be like a big list, but maybe even just your top 5. Like, what are your core values? What are the things that are most important to you as a human? And then being able to anchor into that and check back in with that in your business, going through every aspect of your business. Is my social media in alignment with those core values? Is my sales process in alignment? So like for me, authenticity is my number one core value. And I know that it's my number one core value because I know what it feels like to not live an authentic life. Mm-hmm. And because of anxiety and depression and chronic pain that disabled me for many years from not living my truth and living an authentic life, I know what that looks like. And that is a part of my mission. That is part of the umbrella mission that I have in all of my programs, and everything that I do is to help other women, step into their true self, their most authentic self. Because I really believe that that is where confidence comes from, when you are living authentically and unapologetically. So if I look at authenticity as my number one core value, then that has to be a part of everything that I do in my business, or I'm out of alignment with myself. I just got the chills because that is a spiritual truth.
Yeah, that is so,
right?
So good. Yeah. And it's funny because I find and I'm not sure actually. I find it so incredibly hard not to be myself. So I'm assuming other people do too, but maybe not. But if I have to sit here, I'm a very kinetic talker. If I can talk with my hands, my brain goes 100 miles an hour. If I have to sit here and cross my hands and keep my hands down, which is very much not me, my brain shuts down. If I have to get dressed up and watch what I'm wearing and watch what I'm saying, and am I saying the right words? And did I drop an F-bomb? That's just not who I am. And then I feel very stifled and things will not come out very well. And it gets very hard. And then I'm also sucking up so much energy trying to be something that I'm not. I mean, it's a very simple example of just being like,
well, that's not a simple example. It's very, very relatable example. And you've done a lot of the personal development work to get to that, right? And that's spiritual development work. However, I would say that the majority of people coming in, that this is like one of the number one things that they are struggling with, is not feeling like they can be seen without fear of judgment, not feeling that they can express themselves fully, not feeling safe, running their business how they want to run it, and sort of giving their power away to the coach or the whoever who tells them it has to be done like that. Yeah. And I'm trying to change that conversation. right? Because it's not about this way or that way. This is the only way. It's about finding the way that works for you and your lifestyle and how you want to run business. And but for so many women, that holds them back. And so I know what that's like, and I don't want people to struggle in that way. So, that is an example of whenever I, am making decisions in my business, I can come back to, okay, are these in alignment with who I am, who I've already said that I am, and my intentions. And, or for instance, like so you have your own core values, and then you have core values of your business. One of my core business values is the client first. I put the client first, always what the client needs, right? Not in a way where it's that not to say I don't have healthy boundaries, more from the standpoint of, if it's not the right time for them, then it's not the right time for them. Like, I respect and honor, right? It's about serving the client first. So if I am making a decision in my business and that doesn't line up with that core value, then it's a no. Like, I don't even have to think about it, because I'm grounded in who I am. And your business has that intention to it. Yeah. And it's really important to have that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, because it's so easy in all, like, I'm at this point where I am so tired of being marketed to, like, everything. It's just, you're pummeled all the time, and it's this coaching program, that coaching program, because, I'm a coach, I'm in this world. So that's what every ad I get hit with on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Just like another program, I need another program, another program, another program. And it's really hard not to get sucked into them, right?
Sure.
But yeah, the more I know who I am and what I actually want, because I went down that road where I did all the things I was supposed to do. I was told this, I joined that program because this was going to fix that problem. And I joined that other program because I was going to fix that other problem. And in the end, I did it all. Like, it was building this machine that was just not what I wanted. And then once you start I had to go back to, like, I already knew who I was and I got lost. And then I had to go back to who I am just to start creating from a place that I actually wanted. And this is just what I keep hearing, is it's the same thing. And people are just in this place of like, but I got sucked into, I got sucked into this world over here, and it was going to be the answer to my prayers, or it was going to take me from here to here. But once I started doing that journey, I realized it's not even what I wanted in the first place.
Right.
And they're coming back. So I love what you said there, because I think that's how you prevent yourself from getting so spun out of
and I mean, and if you're finding yourself in a place where you're seeking the answers outside of yourself and they don't feel like they are resonating for you, then we have to look at that, because there's no we've all been sucked down the rabbit hole into program after program. And the reason why is because we're really good at what we do, our craft. Like, you're really good at being a money mindset coach. You're awesome at that. So-and-so may be a great nutritionist or great Reiki practitioner, whatever. But that doesn't mean that we know how to build an online business. And so we do have to invest in resources and mentors and coaches, right, to show us things that we don't know. But that doesn't mean that that's the word of God. That is a model, right? But we have to remain always listening to how that model makes us feel. How does that model fit into our life? Like, I'll give you an example. I have a client who is doing very well and very successful in her business. And she came into my program and she said, when I first started, I just wanted to have sales calls, right? And now, like, I have so many sales calls that I dread it. It's exhausting, and it's eating up all my time. And she wanted to find another way to sell that didn't only rely on the sales call. She was looking for other models. And so the problem wasn't that she wasn't good at them, you know, or that she didn't like enjoy connecting with people. It's just that it wasn't scalable and it was taking time away from her family. And, you know, and so she was closing about every, 4 people out of every 10 or so. And so we adjusted the way that she promotes the calls, what she does with people right before the calls to make sure they're a good fit. And now her closing rate is 100%. She's closed every single call that she has been on. She's had less calls, but she's closed 100% of them. And she's gotten, I think she said like 15 to 20 hours back of her week.
Yeah, so good.
And so it wasn't that sales calls and that model doesn't work. Yes, they work. But if that's not going to be in alignment with the kind of life that you want to live, if you want to be present for your kids, she had somebody pass away in her family and she had to step away and then couldn't do any calls. Like if that model isn't going to fit the life you want, then that model isn't going to work for you. It might work for somebody else though. So it's about, seeing what the models are, seeing what the options are, but then coming back to home of what do I want my life to look like? And is my business, the business I'm creating, going to support the life that I want or take away from? That's what we work on, when we talk about being in alignment in your business, because it has to align with your overall life vision of what you want life to be, because we don't live in a bubble. It's not just about our business.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. It needs to be a life first business. Or I shouldn't say it has to be, but most of us, if you're watching this call, most of us got into business because we wanted to probably help people in some sort of way. And 2, we wanted to have some sort of lifestyle that we thought our business was going to support, not going to be, I should say, just taking away from it and leaving us stuck feeling so depleted. And
right.
I think, at the end of the day, there's however many business models out there, and you can find whatever it is that you want to do. You can find somebody who's going to teach you how to do it that way.
For sure.
You just have to maybe search around a little bit, get underneath the noise, So I think, I love what you said there about just being about coming back to home and your core values as a human. So true, Ali. Someone just said, oh, there we go. I was getting, the comments are coming in now. So true, Ali. Both of you are so helpful in getting me grounded, busting through Vanessa, yay.
Thank you, Vanessa. Yay.
Love my sales calls. Amazing. So why don't you share a little bit about how people can find you, work with you? I know you've got a resource.
Sure.
That's all that. I'll drop the link, but if you want to share that information about that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, sure. Probably the best place to catch me is in my group, Karma Sisterhood, Authentic Selling for Coaches and Wellness Entrepreneurs. And we can leave the link there. Mm-hmm. I have a program called the Selling from Your Soul Abundance Academy, where I really, help healers and coaches with every step along the way in their marketing and sales, and creating those magnetic offers. And then, just a bunch of courses that are broken out from the academy. So if you don't feel like you need like a whole coaching program, you can take that as a self-paced course. Some people choose to work one-on-one with me as well. So it just depends on your, what it is that you need and your budget and where you are in your business. But that is the best place to find me, is in my Facebook group. And and I will drop a link for it's an abundance meditation and energy clearing for limiting beliefs and blocks to help remove stuck energies that are holding you back from abundance. And I made that, and you're welcome to it. So we'll put both of the links in the comments. And I just really, what'd you say?
I'm just going to drop the link for the abundance meditation now for the people who are here live, so they can grab it. So drop that in, and then I'll put the link for I don't have the link for your group off the top of my head.
And then you're coming in my group tomorrow.
Yeah, super excited about that.
So that we can talk about decoding the money personalities. Yeah. So you will be in my group, and at 12 Central. And so if you join my group, then you will get to see Christa in there doing an interview. And I'm super excited about that too.
Yeah. So come hang out with us at Allie's group tomorrow. Thank you everybody for joining. Again, if you are catching this on the replay, give us a hashtag replay. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat and we'll make sure we get to them. And thank you so much, Allie, for coming.
Thank you. This has been a blast.
Tomorrow, and I'll see you then.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Christa.